Hello everyone. So 2021 is approaching. I'm sure we're all more than thrilled to say goodbye to 2020 and the disaster and everything that it brought. So, out with the old and in with the new. So today we're talking about all the books I'm really excited about that are releasing in 2021. So I've done this video every single year. Not only that, but I try to do seasonal ones where I'll do like spring releases, summer releases, fall releases, because as always, as I say with this list, it's not all encompassing. There are definitely going to be some that I miss, some that are not even announced yet, and honestly some I totally forgot about. So that's why I try to do them seasonally as well, to try to just add some more in every single, quarter. And yeah, so there are over 30 books that I'm gonna talk about today that I'm excited about. And if you're interested, this year I'm doing a whole romance most anticipated for next year, because I really like romance. And that's just romance, kind of chick lit, women's fiction, just kind of all with the center of romance. So that video is coming soon. I will talk about some romance today, but the majority of romance books I'm gonna talk about will be in that video. So I am gonna try to tell you what these books are all about very, very briefly, because there's over 30 I'm gonna talk about. So will my synopsis be amazing? Absolutely not, but I'll leave the links down below for every single book I talk about in case you're interested in them, and I tried to do them chronologically. So let's do this, because like I said, over 30 books, and I'm sure I'm not even breaking the surface of ones I really am interested in for next year. Starting with January, my first book I have in this list is a YA contemporary called You Have a Match by Emma Lord. Emma Lord released Tweet Cute this year, and it's one of my favorite YA contemporaries I've ever read, so of course her newest one's gonna be on the list. So this one is about a girl named Abby who signs up for this DNA test randomly and finds out that she has a younger sister she never knew about. So she goes to summer camp to meet her sister and figure out why her parents gave her up for adoption. She doesn't even know anything about it. So that's all we know kind of about that. With Emma Lord's first book, it was kind of cute, romantic. Will this be the same? I don't know. It seems more family-esque. Either way, it sounds adorable. Another YA one is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe, which comes out January 16th. This book actually takes place in 1954, which is not a safe place for two girls to fall in love, especially not in Chinatown. So we follow Lily and Kath risk everything to let their love see the light of day. The cover is stunning. It looks very interesting, and I don't read a ton of like YA historical books, but this one sounds really good. Next up, we have our first adult romance, The X Talk by Rachel Solomon. So Rachel Lynn Solomon actually has written 3 YA contemporaries that I really, really love. So this is her first foray into adult romance. And this is all about these 2 public radio co-hosts who have this new segment called The X Talk, where 2 exes will deliver their relationship advice live. And their bosses decide that, these 2 people, Shay and Dominic, are the perfect co-hosts because they just bicker and banter so much. The segment gets really popular really fast, and I'm sure feelings will be involved. And I'm sure this is a hate to love romance, which is my favorite romantic trope of all time. And the last book I have for January is actually an adult mystery thriller, and that is called If I Disappear by Eliza Jane. I don't know how to pronounce that. It comes out January 26th. This is about a girl named Sarah who loves true crime podcasts and give her a sense of control in a world where women just like her daily disappear, on the daily. She's sure that they're preparing her for something. So when Rachel, her favorite podcast host of a true crime podcast, goes missing, she knows that she can find her. So it sounds really interesting, like such an interesting concept, because podcasts and thrillers just mix so well, and it's been a thing for a few years, but I've yet to read one that a listener tries to find a podcast host because the podcast host goes missing. Color me intrigued. Moving into February, we have Makeup Breakup by Lily Menon. So like I said, Rachel Lynn Solomon's a YA contemporary author moving to adult romance, just like Sanon Menon. So she's going by Lily Menon. And so this is about a girl named Anika who has this app, Makeup, who has been called the Google Translate for failing relationships. And there's also this guy named Hudson who has an app called Breakup, known as the Uber for breakups. So basically, they had a summer fling years ago, and now they have like rivaling, apps. So they have to compete against each other. And it says that as a true rival, app developers clash again and again. Anika finds herself drawn into Hudson's fast-paced, high-velocity, utterly shallow world. Again, Again, another hate to love romance. Again, sounds adorable. Coming up on February 9th is a faux love story by Lone Lee. This is a YA contemporary book. It's in which two Vietnamese American teens fall in love and must navigate their newfound relationship and their family's age-old feud about their competing neighboring restaurants. So it sounds adorable. I love YA contemporary. There's no secret about that. Any sort of romance involved in any genre, like, I'm usually there for it. Sorry again, I'll be reading from my script because, as I've said about 50 times, a lot of books. Moving into probably my most anticipated book of the entire year is The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, also coming out on February 9th. I have read 4 Kristen Hanna books and all of them have made me sob. You guys know The Nightingale is my favorite book of all time. It's historical. Who would have thunk it? But here we are. So The Four Winds is another, you guessed it, historical novel. This one takes place in Texas, 1934. It's an epic novel of love and hope set against the backdrop of one of America's most defining eras, the Great Depression. So I think it's about a family or people that are moving from Texas to California during the Great Depression. And honestly, the plot wouldn't intrigue me. I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm not really drawn to historical books. That doesn't sound like something I would read, but the fact that it's Kristen Hanna means I'm going to read it, and it's probably going to make me cry a lot. Then on February 2nd, we have The Project by Courtney Summers, and basically this is all about a sister that's trying to save her older sister from this cult that she's joined. She joined this cult called The Project, where they're supposed to be do-gooders, but her sister knows that it's a cult, basically. So she kind of goes into the cult. The guy's like, if you can prove that we're, a cult, then you can take your sister, but we're really not. And, of course, things go all right from there. Courtney Summers writes a lot of YA mystery thrillers. This one sounds really intriguing, and cults just sound intriguing to me. But we have What Big Teeth by Rose Saboy. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. What really drew this to me was the cover and then the brief synopsis. The Addams Family vibes about a girl who returns home to her literally monstrous family. So all of her family are literally monsters. And so she goes home and she tries to finagle something, but it sounds really interesting and really unique, which made me really drawn to it. Next up, I have A Taste for Love by Jennifer Yen, which comes out also on February 2nd. This is a delicious rom-com about first love, familial expectations, and making the perfect beau. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I probably didn't. Please forgive me. So this is about a girl named Liza who decides to help her family in this big bakery competition, and then she arrives on day 1. All of the contestants are young Asian men that her mom picked out for Liza to date. So it's not a bakery competition. It's like, who's gonna win Liza's heart competition that her mom set up. It just sounds really, really adorable. Then, of course, on February 16th, we have A Court of Silver Flames. This is the, should I call it the 4th book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series? Or is it like a brand new series? I don't know. In this book, we're going to follow Nesta and Cassian, which I'm excited about, but gosh, I loathe Nesta. She's gonna have to do a lot to make me like Nesta. Cassian's great. I'm here for Cassian. I'm ready to do it. But Nesta's horrible. She's got some redeeming qualities, but the more I think about her as a character, I just don't like her. I don't know if I'm alone in this or not. I would have much rather the other sisters book. I'm just saying. I would like that. But here we are. I will read it. I'll probably trash for it. What else is new? Moving into March. I have Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I read this year and was surprisingly really satisfied with. It's a YA mystery thriller that usually I don't like. I don't like YA mystery thrillers. Why? I don't know, but I really like this one. So this is a sequel. I think it's a whole new kind of mystery she has to follow. They're just fun. They're kind of interactive. They'll have maps, and she does a lot of interviews and stuff. It's kind of multimedia-esque, I guess you could say. They're just fun YA mystery thrillers. Another YA one is called Once Upon a Quinceanera by Monica Gomez, which comes out on March 2nd. So this is about a girl named Carmen who just wants to have her happily ever after come true. So she has to do this unpaid summer internship where she has to be a party princess in a ball gown. And so she has to manage dancing in blistering heat, doing all of these things, having an oh so unfortunately attractive ex, and stopping her spoiled cousin from ruining her own quinceanera. So it sounds adorable and fun, and I don't think I've read a book about a quinceanera, so I'm very, very excited to read it. Then on March 9th, we have Act Your Age, Evie Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the third and final book in her series. It's all about the sisters. This one follows Evie. It's an adult romance. It's adorable. It's steamy, spoony, checks all of the boxes. And lastly, for March, I have With You All the Way by Cynthia Hand, coming out March 30th. So this is about a girl named Ada who caught her boyfriend cheating on her after a humiliating attempt at losing her virginity, and now she's had it up to here. But things really hit the fan when her family goes on vacation to Hawaii, and she discovers that her own mother is having an affair. So everyone's trying to fall into bed and stuff like that except Ada. So she realizes that she's going to stop trying and start doing sex. That is, her best plans get laid. Her best laid plans overlooks an inconvenient truth. Feelings, romantic or not, always gets in the way. So Cynthia Hand's kind of an automatic read for me because I really enjoy her writing. I don't know if this is going to take a more funny approach or a more serious approach. Either way, it sounds like it's going to have to do a lot with virginity and stuff, which I've read some books this year that really handle that topic poorly, honestly. So I'm excited for this one and kind of skeptical. Moving into April, we have another YA contemporary called Kisses and Croissants by Anne-Sophie Johannahue. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, but the cover and title alone are just everything. So this is about a girl named Mia who is a American girl at an elite summer ballet program, and she has 6 weeks to achieve her dreams to snag an audition with one of the world's best ballet companies. And there's more to Paris than ballet, especially when there's a charming French boy who wants to be a tour guide and things like that. It sounds like it's going to be a really cute book set in the summer in Paris about ballet, which I've yet to read a book, I think, about ballet, which is astonishing to me because I love the movie Center Stage so much. And then on April 6th, we have You Love Me by Caroline Kepnes. This is the third book in the You series. If you don't know the You series is an adult thriller one. The first one's You. It's made into a TV show. I really loved the first book, You. I loathed, yes, I said loathed, the second book, Hidden Bodies. So what she will do with this third book, I don't know. I'm definitely going to read it. Will I like it or not? Time will tell on that one. Next up, we have a YA fantasy called Witches Steeped in Gold by Cannon Smart, which this cover is everything. This comes out April 20th. All I know about this, it's a Jamaican-inspired debut about two witches that are rivals that hate each other, want to kill each other, but they team up together to take down this common threat. So that just sounds amazing. Put two witches that hate each other, that are literally sworn enemies, and they're gonna team up together. I'm gonna read it. On April 20th, we have What's Not to Love by Emily Wibberley and Osman Sigma Broca. This is about Alice and Ethan who compete for everything. They have to plan their 10-year reunion for their school, and their principal promises a letter of recommendation to Harvard if they're successful. Of course, this sounds like hate to love, kind of rivals to lovers. I really enjoy their books. Are they super amazing? No, but they're kind of ooey gooey YA contemporaries that I'm always drawn to. On April 21st, we have The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. This is an adult chick lit romance. I'm not quite sure what to categorize it right now, but I do know it's about Addie and her sister that are about to embark on an epic road trip to their best friend's wedding in the north of Scotland. And the playlist is all blah, 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 but basically they start going and a car slams into the back of theirs, and the driver's none other than Addie's ex, Dylan, who she's avoided since their traumatic breakup 2 years ago. So I think what happens is they all kind of drive together. Maybe Addie and Dylan will get back together. Who knows? I really love the flat share. I did enjoy the switch, so I'm iffy on this one, honestly. Moving into May, on May 4th, we have Sunkissed by Kasie West. This is about a girl that spends her summer at a family resort and she falls in love, and that's all I know with that one. Kasie West is one of those automatic buys for me, whereas they're YA contemporary books that are cute, full of love, and just great summer reads, honestly. So I don't even need to know what they're about, which is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. Then on May 11th, we have The People You Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. And this is about Alex and Poppy, who are polar opposites, but they are literally best friends. They've been best friends forever. So most of the year they live apart, but every summer for a decade, they take one vacation together for a whole week. That's just what they do. And until 2 years ago when they ruined everything, they haven't spoken since, until they decide to go on one last vacation together and all of their truths are finally revealed. So I'm guessing this is gonna be a friends to lovers, obviously, because you have best friends, and I think a big falling out happened, and they're gonna reveal their truths and probably fall in love, and I'm here for it. Give me all the summer romances. Then on May 18th, I have Last Chance Books by Kasie West. I think this is a YA, I'm not quite sure, but this is about a girl named Madeline who runs this store called Books and More, and her family has owned it for generations, and nothing's going to stop her from coming back home after college to take over the store from her beloved aunt. I think things get in the way. Another like thing that's automatic buy for me is like books set in bookstores. I'm there for it. Any character that's like, I work in a bookstore, I live behind a bookstore, I want to read it. And then on May 25th, another, probably my second most anticipated read of the entire year, is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this is about 4 famous siblings who throw an epic party to celebrate the end of summer, but over the course of 24 hours, their lives will change forever. This is set in August 1983. Very excited for it. I think this book takes place over the course of 24 hours, and Taylor Jenkins Reid has really shifted her writing so much. She used to write really kind of romantic type of books, I would say, like chick litty, and then since Evelyn Hugo, she's kind of taken a turn to like historical, but yet keeps a lot of romance involved. And I'm here for it. I think a lot of us are. Moving into June, I only have 2. I have One Last Stop by Casey West coming out on June 1st. And this is about a girl named August who doesn't believe like in first love. She meets a girl named Jane who August realizes that her subway crush is impossible in more ways than one, namely displaced in time from the 1970s, and she thinks maybe it's time to start believing. I think it's about 2 girls falling in love. I don't know. I read Red, White, and Royal Blue last year and just fell in love with it. Very eagerly anticipating this one. And then on June 22nd, I have My Contrary Mary by Cynthia Han, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. This is their new series all about Marys. So if you don't know, they had a series called Jane. Like, they had Lady Jane, My Plain Jane, then they have My Calamity Jane. So they're doing a kind of a Mary spin. So this one's going to be about Mary, Queen of Scotland. So they'll take kind of a historical figure and put a fun kind of whimsical twist on it, and they're always really a good time. Coming up in July, we have a new Morgan Matson book. Finally, I feel like it's been like 3 years, so I'm really excited for it. It's called Take Me Home Tonight. We don't have a cover for it at all yet, but I'm very eagerly anticipating it. So this one is pitched as Ferris Bueller meets Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I like both of those, so I'm here for it. So, Cat Stevie, who knows what's gonna happen. I think you can put 2 and 2 together, combining Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Probably just a fun, adventurous book. Then we have The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik coming out July 6th. This is a sequel to A Deadly Education. I really liked it. It's an adult fantasy book all about this school that literally tries to kill you. So very intriguing, very info-dumpy, but I am very interested in the second book. And then on July 27th, I have For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing, an adult mystery thriller. This is set at a prestigious private school, complete with interfering parents, overeager students, and one teacher who just wants to teach them all one lesson. Murder, mystery, all of that involved. Also, we have Survive the Night by Riley Sayer coming out on July 21st. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. So this takes place in 1991 when I was the ripe old age of 3. So this one is about a character named Josh who, I think it's about 2 characters that travel together as they travel that empty highway in the dead of night, and increasingly worried Charlie begins to think that she's sharing a car with the campus killer. Sounds like a 80s or 90s slasher film, and I'm here for it. Then moving into August, I have The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang. I have been waiting for this book for probably 2 or 3 years now. So this is the last book in her series. I forget what the series is actually called, but in this book we follow Quan, who has been in the first 2 books and how he finds love, and I'm very excited to read about Quan. I've been wanting to read about him since book 1, so super excited for it. And honestly, that's all I have. So I have a couple books that I don't have dates for yet, and the first one of that being A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. This is a YA fantasy about 3 residents at a peaceful commune. I'm not sure. I also know that, will there be a sequel to The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes? I need to look that up. But yeah, that's all I have for right now. Did I miss some? I am 1000% sure of it. I'm sure you'll let me know. So please let me know down in the comments what books you're excited for in 2021. I know there is a lot being released and I'm excited for all of them and I can't wait to read all of them and also to say goodbye to this horrific year. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in my next video.